Welcome to This Explainer. Look, today we're slicing straight through that relentless 2026 marketing hype. We're giving you, the enterprise decision maker, a purely data-backed roadmap to actual AI success. We're getting past the theory here. We're going to look at exactly what separates the companies seeing massive gains from the ones, well, pouring money down the drain. If you're completely exhausted by hearing about game-changing AI without seeing actual bottom-line results, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Let's start with this massive number staring us right in the face, 95%. According to a 2025 MIT study, that is the shocking failure rate of enterprise AI pilots that deliver absolutely zero measurable ROI. Just let that sink in for a second. Despite billions of dollars flying around, 95% of organizations are completely stuck in what we call pilot purgatory. You know the drill. They build a shiny demo, everyone claps in the boardroom, and then it just completely fails to scale in a messy, real-world production environment. There's a manufacturing COO in that exact same MIT study who honestly hit the nail on the head. They pointed out the huge friction we're all feeling. Vendors are out there on LinkedIn promising overnight transformation, while the people actually running the business are looking around wondering where the real impact is. It's a massive, glaring divide between expectation and reality. So, to get your organization into that elite 5% that actually scales, we're going to dismantle this whole thing step by step. We'll cover the enterprise Gen AI divide, the hidden threats, core foundation and future, the platform decision, and wrap up with your blueprint for success. All right, part 1, the enterprise Gen AI divide. Let's look at why massive investments are yielding zero returns. We've moved incredibly fast, haven't we? Just 10 years ago, back in 2016, we were barely entering the Cloud ML era. Then, Gen AI hit, and it was literally an absolute gold rush. Companies were just throwing money at pilots without any real strategy. Well, that brings us to the harsh reality check of 2025 with the MIT study. And now, here in 2026, we're in an era of intense compliance and scaling pressures. The whole move fast and break things phase, that's totally over. Now, it's all about structured, rigorous execution. Now, you might be tempted to just wait all this out, but look at this explosive growth. The enterprise AI market is skyrocketing from $30 billion last year to a projected $570 billion by 2035. I mean, that's astronomical. What this really means is your competitors are figuring this out as we speak. You have to find a way to win here, or you honestly risk an existential competitive decline as these AI-native companies pull exponentially further ahead. Moving on to Section 2, the hidden threats. We're talking shadow AI and looming compliance deadlines. Okay, notice that staggering 90% slice. This is what we call shadow AI, and it's wild. Right now, 90% of your employees' AI usage is happening on unsanctioned personal tools. And why? Because frankly, the consumer tools usually perform way better than the lockdown corporate versions. But this creates an absolute nightmare for you. Your teams are out there feeding proprietary company data into public models, completely bypassing your corporate governance and creating a massive data leak risk that you probably can't even see. And compounding all that internal chaos is the looming reality of the EU AI Act. The general application deadline is August 2nd, 2026. Guys, this isn't just a slap on the wrist. If you aren't governing your AI platforms, and yes, that absolutely includes all that shadow AI your employees are using, you're risking severe penalties. We're talking up to 35 million euros or 7% of your total global turnover. Choosing an AI platform in 2026 is no longer just a fun productivity play. It is fundamentally about legal survival and strict compliance. All right, Section 3, Core Foundation and Future. We're diving into data readiness and the agentic shift. So here's the absolute truth. AI is only as good as your data. And right now, 61% of companies openly admit their data is just a complete mess, nowhere near AI ready. Remember when Zillow lost $500 million because their algorithmic pricing model was fed incomplete structured data? Yeah, that is exactly what happens when you rush it. On the flip side, Bank of America is succeeding massively in AI today. But why? Because they spent $3 billion fixing their unified data foundation years ago. You literally cannot skip this step. If you have garbage data, AI is just going to help you generate garbage out, but, at lightning speed. Now, once you actually get your data clean, you have to prepare for the next massive shift, which is agentic AI. We're officially moving away from simple chatbots where you just ask a question and get an answer. Agentic AI acts much more like an autonomous digital worker. It can plan, execute, and connect multiple steps across your workflows all on its own. In fact, Gartner predicts 40% of enterprise apps will embed these autonomous agents by the end of 2026. This is the future of operations right here, and your platform needs to be able to orchestrate these multi-agent systems seamlessly. That brings us to Section 4, the platform decision. Let's navigate build versus buy and vendor ecosystems. When it comes to the classic build versus buy dilemma, let's be honest. Enterprise egos often want to build, but the data heavily favors buying. Vendor partnerships achieve a 67% success rate. That's literally double the success rate of internal builds, which sit at a pretty dismal 33%. Building internally takes 12 to 18 months and drains massive amounts of talent and capital. You should really only be building an internal AI platform from scratch if it provides a truly unique, highly proprietary competitive advantage. For almost everything else, standard enterprise operations are scaled much faster and way safer by partnering with established vendors who already have the governance built right in. When evaluating the 2026 landscape objectively, your choice shouldn't actually be about who has the absolute smartest language model today, because let's face it, that changes every few months anyway. It's about which platform natively fits your stack. So if you're deeply embedded in Office 365, Microsoft Copilot Studio is your natural path. Are you heavy into data analytics on Google Cloud? Vertex AI makes perfect sense. If you need massive document processing with high safety, Anthropic's Claude Enterprise offers a 1 million token context window. And if you're in banking or healthcare facing severe regulations, IBM watsonx is built specifically around that governance. It's all about fitting the tool to your reality. Finally, Section 5, the blueprint for success. Here's your 4-step roadmap and how to tie AI to the P&L. Okay, this is your execution roadmap, and I cannot stress this enough, you absolutely cannot skip directly to the pilot phase. Most companies jump straight to step 2, and that's exactly why they fail. You have to start with step 1, foundation. You need to audit your data, set up your governance, and establish security parameters first. Only then do you move to step 2, which is a pilot focused on one very specific use case with predefined key performance indicators. Once that proves its value, you scale to adjacent workflows in step 3. And finally, step 4 is continuous optimization, as you start introducing more of those autonomous agents we talked about. Now, when you're measuring that success to justify your budget, you really have to change the conversation. Stop looking at vague, task-level productivity gains like hours saved. Honestly, saving an employee an hour a day means absolutely nothing if that hour doesn't translate into real value. You need to demand metrics that explicitly tie your AI platform's performance to top-line revenue growth or bottom-line cost reduction on your P&L. Start tracking adoption rates as your leading indicators, and please, set realistic 2 to 4-year ROI horizons. Real transformation is a portfolio play. It's not some overnight miracle. I'm going to leave you with this critical question to ask your board and your IT teams tomorrow morning. Is your organization building for the 95% who fail or the 5% who scale? Surviving the enterprise AI transition of 2026 requires decisive, structured action, a rock-solid data foundation, and rigorous compliance. It requires seeing right past the vendor hype to build a strategy that actually scales. So take these frameworks, audit your current data, address that shadow AI, and start building for the 5%. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I honestly can't wait to see how you transform your operations.